and welcome to another The Cheer Team video, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the many things that are in RedPower. RedPower is a very popular mod which basically focuses on many different aspects. We have RedPower machinery, RedPower microblocks, and RedPower wiring and logic. It's kind of split up into several different mod thingies. There is so many different stuff in RedPower, and in this mod spotlight I'm going to go over a few of the basics, or just a few of the machinery which RedPower has to offer. This one here is called a timer. It is a very simple one which basically gives off a redstone loop. Kind of a theme with RedPower is redstone related stuff to make the life of a redstone creator easier. The timer makes a simple redstone loop which can be controlled if you right click on it, which means you can set the time interval lower or whatever, and you can see now it's going faster. RedPower makes everything much easier. I mean, with just this timer alone, you're saving a whole redstone loop, and it's more efficient as well, because redstone loops are generally quite big. There are loads of lovely different contraptions in RedPower which are really useful. This is another redstone contraption, a sequencer. This is basically the same as a timer, but it goes in a circular loop, which is like where it just goes one by one. You'll see in a minute. So one of the main things that you generally use in RedPower is wire. There are tons of different types of wire. Well, there's one red alloy wire, but you can also get it in different coloured insulators, but we'll go on to that later. So let's just put one wire there, one wire there, one wire there, just to show you what it does. You can see that a sequencer alternates between them all. You can see by these lamps that obviously the sequencer goes around in a loop, but in a circle. Something else here that I would like to show you is the counter. The counter is a pretty nifty kind of RedPower which would take ages to do with standard redstone. If you just go into a counter and right click on it, then you can see that you can set the maximum count, increment and decrement. Now what this means is when the counter inside of it gets to 10, then it will output a redstone signal. So I'm just going to put it on 5 for this example. Increment is how many counts it goes up when one side is activated. You can see here there's a plus and a minus sign. If I hit this button, you can see that it is going up. So, and when this little pointer here actually gets to this, then it will actually do the signal. So you can see how far along it is. There's also a minus side as well. So the plus side is for increasing it, and the minus side is to bring it back. They're really useful for so many things. It is pretty cool. Something that I think is really cool about RedPower and opens up so many possibilities is the fact that you can do it in any orientation. With redstone, you can only put it flat on the ground, but with RedPower and all the RedPower machinery and lamps and stuff, you can put it on any kind of direction, like on the sides, upside down. It just makes redstone a lot more easier. So you don't just have rows and rows of redstone just really annoying you. Ugh, every redstone maker's worst nightmare. Tons and tons of repeaters just for a simple, little bit longer delay. If you just want, in normal redstone, if you just want to do if you just want to have a little delay, you have to have tons of repeaters side by side on maximum levels just to actually get that delay to work. But not with RedPower. RedPower has its own kind of repeater, which is this. It's still called a repeater. It's still pretty much the same, except counts last longer. So if I just go and pick up this, if I activate that, you can see that there is a longer delay. You can see here that this thing here, even if I put it there, normally that would last like I don't know how many seconds, but with the RedPower repeater, if I just activate that, you can see it takes a while before it actually takes effect. So you can see now that I've taken it off, it actually takes a while for it to actually spread, which is basically what a repeater does, it's just extended. Something else that I thought was kind of cool was the randomizer. So I'll just put these lamps down just to demonstrate, and then I will emit a redstone signal. So when a redstone signal is emitted, it just randomly picks all of these lamps. It works with buttons, and if it's a continuous redstone signal like a torch, like I have here, then it will just keep randomly outputting on these different lamps. With RedPower, you can also do cool operations with just one little contraption rather than building a whole redstone infrastructure. Take a look at all these gates here, all of these gates. This one, however, is the AND gate. Basically, it compares what these three sides, and then if they're all activated, then it will output a redstone signal. It's exactly the same with the OR gate, except it only needs one, but with the AND gate, obviously it needs all of them. It's just a great way of comparing your redstone signals. Something else we have here is bundled cables. So if we just go into here, you can see that there are tons of different types of bundled cables. So I'm just going to get a bundled cable, and this is where the insulated wire really takes its place. So if we just get, I'm just going to get a few of these. So let's just get my bundled cable and let's place it down. Bundled cable is extremely useful for keeping all of your redstone compact. So if I just get some lime insulated wire and attach it to this, now I'm going to attach some lime to the other end, and I'm just going to put a simple thing there. So now if I put a torch, you can see that it actually powers the lamp through the bundled cable. You might be thinking now, why is this useful? What is the point? What are you on about, Ethan? Well, it means that if we get a light blue insulated wire or any other insulated wire of a different colour, and we just get a light, I'm just going to have a different lamp, then get one there. You can see that with bundled cable, what would normally have to be two different streams of redstone separated, we can actually have it so all of these connections run through one single bundled cable. Pretty cool. That's not all in RedPower, that's just wires and logic. We're not over yet. If we just go and get some of these things, covers, then you can see we can do some pretty nifty building stuff with it. You can see here what I've done is I've used covers, and this is the kind of pretty nifty user interface that we have here. So what I can do is I can place it there, I can place it in multiple directions however I want. I can do all sorts with this. It's not only covers as well. If we go into RedPower Microblocks, we can see here that there's also tons of different awesome stuff that you can do with these microblocks. Hang on, we're not over yet. There's more in RedPower. For example, just a little thing that I wanted to note. This project table, if you right click on it, it's just like a crafting table, but it's much easier to craft the simple things. So I can just put a recipe up here. Now let's say I just forgot something in your inventory. We've all been there. We've all been in the point where we're in a crafting table and we don't have that last bit of iron or whatever we need. So what I can do is, let's say I wanted to make an iron pickaxe. So I'm just going to get some iron ingots, and then I'm also going to get some sticks. Now if I put the recipe, oh no, let's say I forgot something, the recipe is still there, it doesn't just throw itself on the floor because that's a pain. Now let's put the iron ingots on, and there, we've made it. But what's this? Well, we can use it because project tables each have their own little inventory, which makes things so much easier. So let's just, I don't know, put that in. If we put in all these sticks and some of these ingots, now if we hold shift and push this, then it will actually use the items in this inventory to make as many picks as it can, and we can click again to get the original. So project tables are really useful for streamlining crafting. There's even more to RedPower, because in RedPower we also have tons of machinery. I mean, look at all of these machines here. In this video, I'm not going to go through all of these machines. Instead, I'm just going to show you the basics of tubing. So let's just go get some pneumatic tubes. You might also notice there are redstone tubes here as well. These two are exactly the same apart from one thing. Redstone tubes are exactly the same as pneumatic tubes, but they're made with redstone. And this basically means that we can power it directly rather than powering it to the transposer, and you'll see what I mean by that a bit later. So now that I've got those tubes, I'm going to show you each one. We can get something like a filter, but we can get a transposer. So if we just get a transposer, something else we might need as well is a screwdriver, which is pretty cool. And let's take a look. In this chest here, if we right click on it, you see I've got diamonds and I've got cobble arranged like this. So what I can do is, what if I wanted to pump this out into a chest here? So what I can do is I can place down my transposer. Now this is important. This is what always seems to confuse people, which way the transposers go. If it's not the right way, then it simply won't work. Now this side with the like big hole is the inputs. So that needs to be facing the chest. In RedPower, the small circle on the other side is the output. So if I just arrange it so it's that way, yep, the output's like that. Now let's just put some pneumatic tubes down over here. Now, how are we actually going to start this? We're going to use something that we visited a few minutes ago, a timer. What transposers do is, when you give a redstone signal to them, they will pump out just one item. So we're going to need to keep sending redstone signals in order for it to keep going. Something I really like about RedPower tubing is that they don't overflow. If there's no room, then it just stops. I mean, let's say that this chest was full. While buildcraft pipes would generally overflow, the transposer actually checks that it can go somewhere before it sends the item, which is pretty cool. So let's just place a timer here. Something I forgot to mention earlier is that you can actually stop a timer with a redstone signal. So I'm just going to quickly get a lever. I'm going to place the lever here, and then I'm just going to get some red alloy wire. Let's connect that up. Now you can see that it's already started going, but we don't have to power the transposer. We can just use redstone tubes as well. So if we put a redstone tube there, that basically means that that tube here will power any source, in this case the transposer, which is, practicality-wise, it's much better because you can power more than one transposer at the same time. So for this, we're actually just going to use basic redstone. I'm not going to use any wire. So if I just link the redstone up here, you can see it's connected. And then if we just put a timer here, then you can see that it's now powering the redstone tube. Now we're going to just connect it up to the transposer. And you can see that it's now started going. You can see that in the chest it is doing it in order. Pneumatic tubes love to do things in order. Something you need to remember is that transposers and pneumatic tubes will automatically go to the closest one. That is something that you have to remember. So in this chest you'll see everything's being pumped to here now, but this chest isn't, because that one is closer. This is pretty cool because if this chest becomes full, this can be our overflow chest, which I kind of like. So that is an overview on RedPower. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, please do not forget to subscribe and follow us on Twitter @TheJerteam. But for now, goodbye.